Today in this video, I'll be revealing to you what many spiritual teachers and people out there will not tell you. So maybe you've been watching a lot of videos and they have been telling you, raise your frequency, raise your vibration, do this, do that. But the main thing you have to understand is simply this, and that is attainment of what we call stillness. So that should be your main goal, because stillness is your path towards enlightenment. Enlightenment is whereby you attain a state of oneness with being, or with the God who's within you. So deep within ourselves, beyond this physical form that we embody, we have what we call the being, or what you might like to call the God essence that is within us. And that God essence that is within us is available to every other living being outside ourselves. Okay? So the moment you can learn to attain that felt oneness with the God who is within, you are now opening a portal towards enlightenment. And we could also say that enlightenment is the end of all suffering. And still, we can say that enlightenment is whereby you bring an end to the incessant thinking that your mind always runs about. Remember that most of the things which happen to us in our lives are not really happening to us, they are just happening. But our thinking, our conditioned mind likes to play the victim mindset. It likes to correlate all the experiences that we have to ourselves and become the victim, right? So when you learn to attain what is called stillness, this means that you bring the mental chatter unto an end. And when you are still, what you experience as a result is peace, is calmness, is relaxation. And relaxation, peace, and calmness, these are the frequencies of creation or of abundance. Think about your desired state. Think about that state that you want to achieve. Maybe you want to own something, maybe you want to become somebody different. That state that you want, what will accompany that state is a feeling of calmness, is a feeling of relaxation, is a feeling of peace. But when you're not at that state, what you feel is what we call anger, fear, worry, tension, and so on and so forth. And that is why most people never realize their desires, never realize their goals. Why? Because they are waiting for the external to change without them having to change their within. So you can access peace right now, you can access joy right now, you can access calmness, you can access all those emotions at this present moment. You just need to learn how to stop or to bring the mind into stillness. When the mind comes into stillness, then naturally you will feel peaceful, you will feel calm, you will feel in a state of relaxation. So how do you bring the mind into stillness? So this is where the act of watching the thinker comes in place. So watching the thinker is you now acting as the presence awareness of the thoughts that come up into your mind. This means that you observe your mind. This also means that you listen to the voice inside your mind. To be aware is to notice that the mind has now started the incessant chatter. Remember, all of us have that voice inside our heads. That voice keeps talking every time and every time. And that voice that keeps on talking is the conditioned mind. The conditioned mind is your ego. The ego is your false self. It is the image that your mind has created of who you think you are. And most of us live based off our ego. And when we do that, what we simply do is that we neglect and we bury down our being, our felt oneness with God. So when you bring the mind to stillness, it means that you stop that mental stream of thoughts and the mind now is calm. When the mind is calm, then there is no worry, because worry comes from projection into the future. This is whereby you start imagining how the future will be like, and in most cases we try to, or we imagine things going wrongly or things not working out in our favor. So when we are having all these kinds of thoughts inside our heads, then we start to feel worried, we start to feel tension, we start to feel lack of calmness. And when you are not when you are in the states of tension, worry, and fear, you tend to now vibrate, or you are in the frequency of those emotions, which means that inevitably you will get to attract those same circumstances and emotions that you do not really want to experience. That is why stillness is the key. So when you can learn how to observe the mind, be in the present moment, know when the mind starts to have its chatter, its conversation. When you can catch the mind having that conversation, then you are now practicing presence. And by then, you will notice that there is the thoughts, There is the mind having the thoughts, and there is you, the observer of the thoughts. That is what we call presence. When you can reach that state, you've now come to what we call the I am realization. And this is you now entering into that state of felt oneness with God. So the more you can learn to observe the mind, the more you learn to watch your mind, the more you enter into stillness. The more you enter into stillness, then you will see, you will come into the revelation of God. That is why the Bible also says, be still and know that I am. The other way which you can practice watching or observing the mind is through pouring all of your attention onto one thing that you are doing at a time. So the activity which you are doing in the present moment, you've got to pour all your attention onto that activity. And once or twice, the mind will try to take you away from that present moment and take you back into the past or the future. But simply because you are now aware and you're in the present moment, you will now take that attention back onto what you're doing. That is the essence of meditation. That is meditation at work. Meditation need not be just sitting and clearing your thoughts. Meditation can be turned into a lifestyle. And once you turn meditation into a lifestyle, then you will start experiencing stillness, more peace, and more calmness. And you will start to see that you now do not react from life as much as you used to be. You now start to disidentify yourself with the mind. And the more you do that, the more you now become enlightened. And the more you become enlightened, the more you start to see synchronicities, the more you start seeing things happening in your favor. And that is simply how you live a peaceful and calm life. Spiritual teachings need to be those that really better your own experience in this dimension. And if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to have more of these videos with me, please make sure you are enrolling in our online one-on-one coaching sessions. As well, you can still like, subscribe, and share this channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay awakened.